So on today's episode of Home Harbor Local, we have Jason Corbett with Let's Go Karting. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate you having us. I know we've been trying to get here for a while.
Third time the charm.
Third time the charm. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So for anybody that's watching on YouTube, we're obviously in a different setup. Today, we're actually in my home. There's a little bit of work that's being done at our office. So a little bit change of scenery and we're making it work. So let's start with your background and kind of like maybe even like growing up as a kid. Like, what did you always want to do? How did you get into your career before Let's Go Karting?
Yeah, so I actually grew up the son of a Major League Baseball player. A lot of people don't know that about me. So I have a twin brother. We were both also very good at baseball, but we just didn't have the same passion that my dad had. So, you know, I eventually started playing volleyball, ended up playing AAA beach volleyball. So just, you know, always played a ton of sports, you know. And then when I graduated college, you know, and had to actually start working, I ended up becoming a software consultant. Did that for about 20 years, worked for Volvo, McKinsey and Company, basically telling software developers what to build, what kind of software to build and all that. And it was rewarding, paid well, but you know, 60 to 80 hours behind a computer was just, it was just draining me. And when my wife and I moved to Dunedin, we saw the kind of the golf cart boom going on, and it just, it made us want to hop in. You know, we're like, we saw the demand. We're like, this is awesome. We got a golf cart ourselves, started going downtown Dunedin. And eventually I just said, you know what? I'm done with the software world. And we went all in on the golf cart thing, and it launched Let's Go Karting about a year ago. And the first year was super successful. So that's kind of how we got here.
How did you get into like the software development and stuff?
That? I actually didn't go to school. I went to school for accounting at the University of Florida. I hated it the entire time. It was kind of one of those things, you go to school, you pick something that you think pays well. And, you know, by the time I was a senior, I was almost done. I was like, this sucks, but it was too late. So I was just like, all right, I got my degree. And then as soon as I graduated, I went straight into working for a title company. And they kind of realized I had some technical skills, and before you know it, I got scooped over to the software development team. And that's really what started my software consulting career. It was just by chance. I just kind of landed there.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I feel like, so I have a degree in biology and kind of same thing. I got a degree in biology thinking I would, I'm going to go in the medical field and that's a good paying job, right? There's always going to be a need for something in that field. And then, you know, I started a master's program and was like, I'm done with school. That's not what I want to do. But I wonder how many people go to school and don't use their degree. I know there's a lot of them.
It's got to be like at least 75, 80%. There's almost all my friends are in the same boat. They're like, not using what they actually went to school for.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Do you think there's value in like getting a degree even though you're not using it?
You know, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, and he actually is the same kind of mindset as me on this. He thinks school is kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
I think like 90% of it is kind of a waste of time. I wish that schools would focus more on, you know, financing. Like, how do you leverage assets? Like, what is a mortgage? I didn't learn that until after I finally bought a house. And then I'm like, I don't know how all this works. So it's like learning how to make your money work for you and doing all those things that, you know, you learn as an adult, but I feel like we learn it way too late in life.
Sure.
I'm 40, finally started a business. If I would have not gone to college and worked real hard, saved up some money, and then started a business when I was, say, 25, I feel like who knows where I'd be today. So I feel like it's kind of a time suck, you know. Why do I need to learn trigonometry? Right. That's a perfect example. Never use it. I feel like nobody really uses it. unless you are a very specialized career. So,
and then you need that degree for that career.
right. So it's things like that that I just feel like, kind of take everyone's time. And, but you learn good life skills, like how to be analytical.
Yeah.
But I just wish, we would kind of shift focus a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe, I would agree with that. Like, I think there's some value in it. Right. And obviously, like if you, like my wife is a veterinarian, right? So like you need that schooling and degree and stuff to be able to practice, or be a doctor or whatever. So there's some of those career paths that you need that schooling. But for a lot of it, like you could start a business, and if that's something you're passionate about, right? Starting a business, you have a want and desire for that too. But there's so much you can learn by just doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like that. So starting out in Let's Go Gardening, was there ever like any hesitation into starting a business? Like, because you have no experience at this point, right?
Lots of hesitations.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very long, it was about 6 months from the time we started talking about it. We did a ton of analysis, right? We did it right. We didn't just jump in and just start buying assets and building a website. We really made ourselves benchmark, see what other companies were doing, run the numbers, see if it made sense for us. So I would say lots of hesitation, but I think the excitement fueled. And by the time we were like halfway through that 6-month analysis period, we're like, okay, we're going to go for this.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I remember that when we bought our Airbnb, our short-term rental on Crystal Beach, it was kind of the same thing. Like, okay, there was an opportunity to buy the home, and then it's like, okay, and I'd seen this home before, so I always had in the back of my mind, like, this would be a rental property and that sort of stuff. But you have to do your homework and crunch the numbers to make sure it does work, right? And so we did a bunch of that, and kind of the same idea where it's like you start doing that, and you're like, okay, this is close enough where like we can make it work, sort of thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So has anything changed since that original concept over the last year? Like
man, yeah. We throw a lot of darts and see what sticks, and try to get move on from what doesn't work. But I mean, one of the most challenging things was building our website. Building a booking platform is way bigger than I ever thought. I built lots of websites in my career, being a software consultant. So I knew enough to be dangerous. So I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can build it. But when you start like trying to build booking platforms and databases and all that other stuff and integrations with calendars and all, it was a beast, So we changed a lot on our website along the way until we were finally comfortable with that. In regards to like pricing in processes, we actually got lucky with sticking that kind of right away.
Nice.
We benchmarked with a lot of companies. We definitely did our unique thing. But we were pleasantly surprised that the market was okay with our pricing points, and we quickly learned that people loved what we were doing, how we were doing it, how we were delivering the cards. People were happy with our services, and I think our reviews tend to speak for that. We've had 55 5-star reviews since we started, not a single bad review.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been rewarding knowing that we're providing a service that people are loving.
Yeah, and it's so we rented a cart from you guys probably a few months ago now, but I can speak to that too, where it's like it's so simple and easy to get it set up, have it delivered, and for people that don't want to spend $10,000-$15,000 and have a golf cart, you're not going to use that often. It's fun. Like it's so cool to be able to have that experience. Living in a golf cart zone and be able to drive to downtown Dunedin or downtown Harbor, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of people have figured out kind of the cheat code, I like to say. Like if you rent just 10
Right.
weekends a year, you could rent for years before you would actually pay one of those things off.
Yeah.
And I unless you are going to use it, multiple times per week or every other weekend, renting is a great option. And you don't have to deal with the maintenance. You don't have to deal with all the headaches that come with them.
Yeah.
They're golf carts, so they do require tires and brakes and stuff quicker than your automobiles would.
Mm-hmm.
So renting is a great option if you're not going to golf cart all the time.
Yeah. Now, you guys do rentals, and were there any other companies that were doing rentals when you started?
Not in Dunedin. So there was a company that was doing before us, and we've actually become pretty, close with them in the industry, which is Big Time Cars. They're actually located in Palm Harbor.
Right.
They were Dunedin golf cart rentals at some point.
Yeah.
Great company. They've also, really impressed a lot of people with their golf cart company and their sales. They've come a long way, but they were doing rentals before us, and I think they just decided to pivot to sales, and that's kind of where we're at now. We're a year into the rentals. They stopped doing them. We're going to keep doing them, but we are going to launch sales soon.
Yeah.
So many people that rent our carts are like, I want to buy this thing. Do you sell them? That's the question I get from locals all the time, and I normally have to sell them to the guy I bought them from, and I'm just sending tons of business his way, and I'm like, it's not a bad thing, but we just decided it's something we want to add to our services.
Capture some of that.
That
business.
Absolutely.
Was that the plan? Like when you started out in rentals, was it always to transition to sales too?
No, not. We didn't even have it on our radar.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And I think we didn't realize how fast we'd get the rental side of things up and running and efficiently. Right now, I feel like it's a pretty well-oiled machine, working well, and we might actually clone it in Sarasota and some other cities eventually. But I think first we want to try the sales side of things, and before we expand our rental side, because I just feel like it all comes together: sales, service, rentals.
Yeah.
Service is going to be the big one. We have plenty of people that help us with our carts, and but when you bring it in shop, it's going to be a huge learning experience. We're prepared for it. We got a great mechanic that's on board, ready to start. Ready for us to sell them, and he's ready to fix them for us.
Yeah, like that. I think that's a good idea too, right? To keep figure out your entire process first before you start expanding a little too soon. So you mentioned your website being a challenge, getting up and started. Was there anything else like starting out that was difficult or that kind of took you off guard that you weren't expecting? And it could just be like in general, like I'm starting a business and like this is something that came up.
Yeah. There's so many things, from the equipment that you need to use, the trailers. There's so many options, and every decision is stressful, and it's a big decision. You're like, am I doing the right thing? Because we're new to this. I had never even driven a trailer before I started. And when we first started, the first 8 months, I did this all by myself. My wife helped with some of the marketing, but she's a full-time medical sales rep, and she's really the one that's allowing me to spread my wings and do this adventure, which I'm super grateful for.
Yeah.
But I was delivering the carts, built the website, answered the phones. I did everything. I was a one-man show, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so to answer your question, there's just so many to even touch on, like buying the trailers, buying the golf carts. I went to so many different vendors and trying to get the best price, but also get nice carts. We wanted to go for more of a premium feel, which, as you can see, we definitely have some of the nicest golf carts any golf cart rental company offers. So that was a huge task. And also I've been asked to partner with people along the way. That was another huge challenge, was, do I give up my, some of my baby that I've built or do I actually partner with people? Might make my life easier. But at the same time, do you really want to give it up? And we've had a couple people that we've really gotten close to entertaining partnerships with before, and it just didn't work out, and I don't regret it, but I will tell you those were the hardest decisions of my life.
Yes.
I mean, we actually drafted contracts and ready to sign and kind of bailed at the last moment.
Yeah. Just didn't feel right.
Just didn't feel right.
I think that's something that I've dealt with too in business, because you starting out, like you said, like you're a one-man shop, like you're the one that's kind of making all the decisions, like what direction do we go? So to like build something from scratch and say like, this is what we're going to do. Here's our mission. Here's our vision. Here's how it's going to look, a couple of years from now. And then making all those decisions to like stay on that path. Like that's probably one of the hardest things to do in business, in my opinion.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
Because there's so many different pieces, and you could easily get stuck in like that decision fatigue where you have a hard time like saying yes or moving forward.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've been there many times. But,
how do you get past that?
Yeah, I think it's easier being a one-man show to get past it, because there's nobody else I have to rely on. And my wife fully trusts what I do. And she's my rock. She's my support system. She's just, she makes me feel better about just making decisions. She's just like, Jason, everything you've done so far has been successful. Just keep going. So I think having that encouragement and support system has just made things easier for me.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little emotional because she's just awesome.
Yeah. Anybody in business, I think, needs that. Like you need someone to help support you, help lift you up in those challenging times.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that came to mind too was, I think for me, it's you're worried about failing or making the wrong decision. Right. Where that shouldn't be the issue, because there's going to be decisions that, you make and it doesn't work out like you had hoped. But that's part of building the business, like where you just learn from those mistakes and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you mentioned something in your notes before we met called you said that you are a introverted extrovert.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
So I'm doing a podcast right now.
Yeah.
Right? Am I super comfortable about it? No. The camera's like, I'm over analytical. I there's a big part of me that this exhausts me, to do this type of thing, but I'm not afraid to do it. I'm not afraid to go rub elbows. I've made some great relationships with the city of Dunedin, city of Clearwater, tons of people around the industry, yourself. I don't know what, even though I'm so reserved and shy, I guess my introverted side, there's something that still pushes me to do these types of things, even though I get so nervous leading up to the events.
Yeah.
Right. I think while we were talking, I was on the news a couple of weeks ago. They called me the same day. I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to be on. When do you want me to, when do you want me to be on? Today, in 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, Right. I'm like, I'm not prepared. I need to do a script. I like to be prepared for these things. But as I've gotten older, I realize being over prepared sometimes makes you even more nervous. So anyways, I'm kind of getting off topic there. But long story short is I like doing these things, but it's just, there's certain times I'm just, it terrifies me. It's sometimes too. I like being alone in my own space, and I can do these things once every couple months, basically.
I can definitely relate to that, because same thing. Like I'm introverted, but I'm creating videos and doing a podcast, and I remember early on when I started the podcast, and now I think you kind of get over that introverted side a little bit when you just start doing things more and you build that history of like, oh, I can do this. But early on in the podcast, there would be many times when I would think about like, okay, I'm not feeling it today. Maybe I should just cancel. Maybe I'll reschedule. But I learned early on in my real estate career, like you just got to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Like there's value in just showing up in those difficult times. And so that's what I've done. I've just, built that history of like, I just keep showing up even when I don't feel like it. And then it gives you confidence in those moments where if you're not quite prepared as you thought you should be, then you're going to be all right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then like just one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
Completely okay. I'm getting into sales. So, I have to be comfortable, just talking in general and it helping people buy their golf carts and all that.
Yeah.
None of that it terrifies me at all. It's being in the spotlight. That's really kind of the
like center stage.
Yeah.
The big crowds.
Big crowds.
Yeah.
Big crowds.
Yeah, really. And that's why I think you got to have like your place where you recharge, like you said. Like I can do these every couple of months or whatever the time frame is, and then and then you recharge, and then you go out and do some more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's helping your business and your goals for what you want to do in your career. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So for the people who don't know what Let's Go Karting is, like, what are you guys doing? So golf cart rentals, like, I guess tell them about your process and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah. So, we do golf cart rentals. You can either book on our website, letsgokarting.com. Very easy booking process online, or you can just give us a call. It's a super, super easy process. Our pricing does get better the longer you rent with us. We do single day rentals, multi-day rentals. So just, you name it, give us a call. We can try to always work something out. If you have a big event, we do lots of big events. We actually have all of our carts booked in a couple of weeks for Yom Kippur down in Reunion in Orlando. So we don't normally go that far, but if they're going to book all of our carts, we'll go that far.
Yeah.
So, so we like to do wedding events and all that good stuff. We also offer an hourly rental program at House of Beer in Fenway, where you could just go up and scan a QR code, pick the number of hours you want to take it, and go out and just have a dinner or something. Cruise around Dunedin for a little bit.
So similar to like the bike rentals or scooter rentals.
Yes, very similar to that. And we're as far as I know, we're the only company that's doing that from a golf cart perspective right now. So
cool.
Yeah. And then our new adventure is sales. We're going to be launching our new location, which is off Fort Harrison, right near the new Sound Amphitheater. We're going to be launching that around early November, maybe December. You never know. We have tons of renovations. We got to get the space ready. We're finding mold in the building, so we got to remediate that. It's really become kind of a money pit. But at the end of the day, I just can't wait to see the final product, and we want to make sure it's perfect. It looks nice and professional.
And so that'll be where you have like your sales centers, people come buy the carts, and then your house, like your rental vehicles there and stuff too, I assume.
Yeah. We'll have our rentals there, and we'll be doing sales there. It's right next to the Sound Amphitheater, so we'll also be doing shuttles for the big events. Whenever they have a big concert, that whole parking lot right where our shop is fills up.
Yeah.
So, it will help people get from that parking lot to the event, so they don't have to walk. And it's an interesting location. It's kind of, there's a lot of barren buildings around us, and there's some history there that people, it would intimidate people. But from our rental business, we're 5 minutes away from Clearwater Beach. We're right down the street from Dunedin. So if you want to come get a rental from there, you could just come there, go out for a day. So it's a very versatile location. We'll see how it goes. I think a lot of people always mention Scientologists and stuff like that. I'm like, they're not bothering anybody. They keep the city clean. I think the city is also trying to just coexist, right? I think people have been scared of going downtown, but the city's trying to make it an entertainment center. So people from Dunedin and Clearwater, wherever you're at, can come downtown, because there's so much the city does have to offer. And we should be able to coexist.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up a good point because I look at like Tarpon, Pearl Harbor, Dunedin, Clearwater, like the little downtown areas. Like there's so much potential there, right? I mean, Dunedin's probably doing it the biggest right now, but
They're doing it right.
right? We could all go off of that model, like Pearl Harbor and Tarpon. Tarpon's got a lot going on, but there's so much history there too, which makes these little towns, downtown areas, pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, and golf carts have really kind of started unifying cities a little bit. We're a huge partner with the city of Dunedin. We're on the golf cart committee with them and the Chamber of Commerce. They're trying to partner with Palm Harbor. So it kind of changed some of the roads and the speed limits. So you can get a golf cart from Palm Harbor to the city of Dunedin. And the same goes for Clearwater.
Yeah.
Our carts are street legal, which means you can drive on any road 35 miles per hour or less. So if they change just a few zones, right near Caladesi, Honeymoon Island, to 35 miles per hour, you can get from Palm Harbor all the way to Madeira Beach on a golf cart.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously if you have electric, you got to figure out where to charge along the way. But yeah, it's really cool to kind of see that evolution, and all the cities want to be part of the golf cart thing.
Yeah. We mentioned before, we have the Airbnb in Crystal Beach, and that's one of the things too. It's like you can drive a golf cart in Crystal Beach, but you can't really go out of the community. You can't go to downtown Palm Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be really cool if you can do that. And like you said, like Palm Harbor all the way down to Deer Beach, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, the roads back up with traffic anyways.
Yeah.
Most of the time, no one's going 40, 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you're on a beautiful beach road, tons of nice, so everyone just needs to kind of slow down a little bit and then take it all in and enjoy it and allow golf carts there. So,
Yeah.
I know there's some people that just hate golf carts. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We see them on social media, but
Yeah.
I would say the majority want them here, and they want one themselves. So,
For sure.
yeah. So we're hopefully this revolution's not gonna die down anytime soon.
Yeah, I like it. Mm-hmm. So let's go karting.com. That's your website. That's where they can book everything.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Jason. Thanks for sharing your story, man.
Donnie, I appreciate you having me. Thanks, man.